Warm welcome to Horse Talk, where I am going to talk about questions from the masterclass that didn't get answered because of lack of time. Questions like, how do I get my horse to stand at the mounting block? And what do I do with a pushy and potentially dangerous horse? So tune in if you are wondering about some of the same things. So I'm going to start with the mountain block question. And we actually also have a video on this on the blog on ridelikeaviking.com/blog. And you can probably then search for mounting and you're going to find the video describing how I solve this, which works with, yeah, at least I haven't found a horse this doesn't work with, because it is kind of important that our horse is able to stand on a loose rein while mounted. So I would probably not mount a horse who isn't capable of doing this. Because if we use our reins or other kinds of pressure to keep the horse still, there might be tension in the horse that then, explodes once our butt is in the saddle. So we don't want that to happen. And the other thing is that if a horse isn't able to stand on a loose rein while mounted, and we then ride off, that horse is probably going to be on the front part and not use the hind legs. Because if we have tight reins while mounting, we then mount, loosen the reins, and the horse starts walking. That horse is walking off with the front feet first. Versus if we have a horse that is able to stand on the loose rein while mounted, and we use our leg aid to get the horse going, and especially if our leg aid is attached to the hind legs of the horse, that horse is going to move off with the hind part first. So it sets the tone for the whole ride. So to avoid having a potentially nervous or horse that isn't with us, and also to avoid the horse being on the front part, I strongly recommend everyone to teach their horse to be able to stand on a loose rein while mounted. But how do we teach it? And basically what I do is that I give a choice. If the horse wants to walk off, I let them walk off. I'm not trying to hold them back, but I make sure they walk off in a way that requires them to do a bit of work. Aka crossing over behind and, bending in their body. And yeah, I can maybe show it with this horse, if it's possible. So let's say I want to mount here and the horse is, walking off. I allow the horse to walk off, but I pick up on this rein, put the bend in the horse's neck, and then I make the horse cross over behind and do some work. And then I offer the horse to stand still. So I basically follow the horse's idea of walking off, but I make it a bit more work than just walking straight. And then I offer the horse to stand still. And this works very well because it also empties worry in the horse. So if the horse is worried and that's the reason why they are walking off, bending the body and making them cross over behind is going to empty out that worry so that the horse is calmer and more confident when mounted. Yes, plus it also activates their hind, and at least in the way I make my horses cross over behind, I attach it to my leg aid so that my leg aid is then also influencing the hind legs of the horse. So that when I ride off, after mounting on a loose rein, I give leg aid and it's more likely I activate the hind legs. And another thing that I often do as well is that I have the one rein a little bit shorter, just in case if the horse starts walking off while I am, almost in the saddle, the horse will walk off in a little circle, not around me, but they're just going to walk off in a little circle. Versus if both of the reins are completely loose and the horse spooks while I'm almost in the saddle, that horse can go anywhere. So I keep one rein a bit shorter and the other rein loose. So if the horse then walks off while I'm mounting, I then, do the same as I do to make them stand still while mounted, only I'm doing it from the saddle, which is also going to empty worry and activate their hind legs and make the horse choose to stand still, because standing still is more comfortable and less work than walking off. So I would do that with your horses. Wendy, you had this question. So be consistent about this, and your horse is going to stand still on a loose rein while mounted in no time. Yes, and we have a video on the blog with our children's horse and actually Olav doing this exact thing, which made his horse also stand still on the loose rein in no time. So I hope this helps. And let me know in the comments below if you have a horse that is able to stand still on the loose rein while mounted or not. Yes. Okay, let's see. We have another question about the dominant horse who tends to go and even run over you, even if you don't ask anything of him. So I would say, Mia, that like depending on the severity of this horse's dominance and pushiness, I would maybe consider training him from inside a fence. So if you feel like your horse is running you down and is making you scared, training the horse from inside the fence can be very, very helpful. Because no matter how great horse trainers we are, if we have a horse who threatens to bite us or kick us or, harm us physically, it is going to show in our body language, and we have then a tendency to step backwards to protect ourselves, which the horse is going to pick up on immediately because they read our body language like an open book. And also by having the fence there, you are going to create a distance and also create a habit of your horse, finding relaxation and listening to you at a distance, because that's what you want. You don't want to start manhandling a horse like this, because that can very quickly escalate and, teach the horse that he's stronger than us and maybe even start doing worse things than what he's doing now. So that will probably be my first tip. And what also actually works very well is doing the connection exercise. So lead him with a long lead rope and a flag, ask him for the outside turns, stop, and then wave the flag and get him to stop, and see if you can find some kind of relaxation and calmness of this horse outside your space. Because once your horse is further away from you, that's when you can be able to then communicate with him through body language. But be aware to, not step backwards for a horse like this until he listens to you and that you can actually send him off. Yes, so I hope this helps. And we actually have a blog about that as well. It's called How to Succeed with a Dangerous Horse or something like that. I think we actually have two blogs. One blog showing the fencing setup so that you can train him from inside the fence and get this sorted. And the other one is simple groundwork you can do to get him to listen to you, which was with a horse exactly like him, who was running people down and whatnot, biting and breaking loose, and had all kinds of problems. And just this way of leading her made a huge difference in a very short amount of time. But putting chains over the horse's nose or trying to manhandle them or, solve this in the horse's space doesn't work at all and can even become dangerous very quickly. But we don't need to start a big fight with the horse like this either. So that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that you need to stay safe and that you need to be clear. Yes. Especially with the stepping backwards thing. Yep. So I hope this helps. And if you are here and listening in, let me know in the comments below. maybe you even have some questions about your horse. We had a great time during the masterclass yesterday. There were many great questions, and yeah, if you missed it, you can actually join next week, because we are holding the masterclass again on Wednesday. Yes, it's live and it's online, and there you get my whole system for how to solve problems with horses through connection and choices. Yes, so I think at least the ones who showed up yesterday, they got lots of new tools in their toolbox when training their horses. Yep, and there was a third question that Hilda asked, because she says, do members get one-to-one coaching? Because I also talked about the Ride Like a Viking members and the program. And I can understand that this can be a bit confusing. But to be clear, on the inside of Ride Like a Viking members, you get full access to a video library showing you everything you need to succeed with your horse. But you also get invited to weekly interactive live Q&As where you can ask questions and we talk about those questions. And those interactive Q&As, they are on Zoom. So we can all see each other and we can all hear each other and we can all talk. And I'm not necessarily holding each and every live Q&A. There are also certified trainers who are holding these Q&As. So Linda Hoffman was hosting last week's members Q&A, and she's a certified saddle fitter. She rides academic riding, and she's also a centered riding coach. So that obviously also will give you an opportunity to ask specific questions to more specialized trainers in specialized field than what I am, if you know what I mean. Yeah, so that's how you in a way get one-to-one coaching. This one-to-one coaching happens in a group. Yes, but if you want a one-to-one session, I recommend that you go to ridelikeaviking.com/trainers and look up the certified trainers there, because I know many of them are giving one-to-one session. Pia in Switzerland, among others, she is giving one-to-one lessons online, and her expertise is liberty training and also mules, for instance. So if you have a mule, you can book a one-to-one coaching with Pia. And yeah, you can find them there, but that's not something we do inside the Ride Like Viking members. Yep. Okay, let's see. The dominant horse, and yeah, there was also one question that I talked about yesterday that I want to talk a bit more about today. It was from Wilhelmine about the dogs scaring her horses. And I gave her quite a bit of advice on how to empty the worry cup and make her horse more confident. Her question was, among others, if it was wrong to dismount and lead her horse past the dogs. And it's definitely not wrong to dismount and lead your horse past the dogs, as long as you make sure that you dismount when your horse is calm, and that you also make sure your horse is calm while you mount again, so you don't get any surprises. But that's not what I'm going to talk about today, because as I was driving to the dentist today, one of our neighbors have dogs, and they are sometimes loose, and they come running, out of the yard and bark at the car. And obviously they do this a lot, because every time a car comes, these little dogs come barking, and they obviously then chase the car away. So what I then thought to do was, instead of just driving past like I normally do, I basically just stopped and I opened the door and, went towards the dogs, which then, ran home. So that the dogs, they weren't able to chase me away. So this could be like a method to basically train the dogs who are now chasing the horses. I think the faster you try to then go past the horses, the more the dogs are going to chase the horses, because every time you go past, they end up chasing you because you leave. So that could be something to try if your horse is up to it and is capable of doing it. It's like you just stop there until the dogs ignore the horse, and that's when you leave, so that you are not accidentally reinforcing the dogs to chase your horse. Yes. But also take the tips I gave you yesterday about how to make your horse calmer and more confident in this situation. That is, of course, number one. But number two is that this can be a habit of, the dogs chasing more and more, because every time they bark, you obviously leave with the horse. So you can maybe have a picnic where the dogs are with your horse. You bring some hay and you just stay there until the dogs ignore you and go away, and that's when you leave. It's worth a try, after all, if this is a reoccurring problem and is quite annoying. Yep. So it at least worked with my neighbor's dog. So let me know in the comments below what you would do if your horse is scared of your neighbor's barking dogs. Okay, but I think this was what we had time for this evening. There were a couple of other questions as well, but I might take them next time. And yeah, if you want to join the masterclass next Wednesday, then make sure to join on ridelikeaviking.no/masterclass, and you will get the whole system on how you can make your ID your horse's ID. And this is so much more effective and profound than always trying to make our horses do what we want to do. So coming to think of it, riding is very much about controlling the horse and making the horse want to do what, or making the horse do what we want to do. But if we are able to train a horse to become self-controlling, and be able to stand on a loose rein when mounted, and can maintain speed from self without rushing on the loose rein, and can maintain speed without us needing to use the leg aid all the time, then we can use our signals when communicating with the horse to actually give signals, not to control them. So it makes horses a lot more lighter and more sensitive to our signals. And it also makes them move a whole lot better and behave better, because they feel better with this type of riding than to be constantly controlled and micromanaged. Yes, so if you want to learn how to do this with your horse so that you can easily ride at liberty, if that's what you want to do, then make sure to join next Wednesday on ridelikeaviking.no/masterclass. And I will also share the link both to the blog and to the masterclass in the comments below. And thank you. Or you can comment masterclass and I will send you the link. Yes. So thank you so much for joining this evening, and hope to see you there. Bye for now.